Alright guys, I'm back on this beaver. I don't have a lot of time because sun's coming up and I want to do this before it gets too hot. We're going to put condensate drains on these Dometic Penguin ACs. They would have shipped from Monaco with a condensate drain. What generally happens is that the AC gets changed out, which this is a newer AC, not the original one. And the condensate drains that would have gone on there broke, or the installer just didn't have time to mess around with it, and so they just didn't put them on. So on this mid-coach AC, you should be able to see the condensate drain. It's just a little catch pan that goes, gets screwed onto the bottom. I'll show you on this AC right here. So on this one, they were cracked, so we're changing out this one too. So it's just this little drip pan right there. You screw that down, and then that goes to a connection right there, and then that connection gets through there, and this just goes straight to the ground on the outside. So all it does is, this is the normal wheat pole from the AC where it's making, or condensate's dripping out of the AC onto the roof down here, and it just goes down to the ground. So on the higher end ones, it's nice not to have the water dripping on your nice paint job, so they put the condensate drains on that. On this kit, let's see. So there's your part number for the kit right there. It comes with everything you need, including instructions. Tells you how to do that. It's not as high-tech as you'd think it would be. Ultimately, because this one hasn't had one installed yet, that's going to go right about there. This gasket right here is going to be in the way, so you have to cut that part out. And do that on both sides, put the tube across, and then you get a second gasket to put on top. You put that on top, add some sealant where you cut that gasket, and now this becomes the new gasket. You'll get extra special foam to cut and put as a supports on the back and on the side to extend those out, so we don't want this whole AC rocking on the extended gasket right there. Really, the first thing you have to do is get that in position after reading the instructions. You're going to make a mark on the gasket, cut the gasket out down to the metal. Do that on both sides. You'll screw these down. So follow the instructions on where to screw it down. It comes with screws. Hook up the plumbing. Then you're going to put that on top. Squeeze as much sealant in that crack, that cut right there that you can. And then you just put the AC back down like you normally would. I mean, what I guess is the strangest thing about it is this plastic isn't the best plastic to use in this application. It's not black, it doesn't have a lot of UV protection on it, and it's going to get a lot of sun on it. So they do get brittle over time, which is frustrating if you're an installer. And you just go to change out an AC, and probably what happened to this guy in the back. He took it off, this part broke, and didn't want to wait 2 weeks to get it ordered from Dometic because the local supplier didn't have it. And of course, when you want AC, you want AC. So I just went ahead and put it on without the drain on it. And who's ever going to take this back off again to put that back on? I don't know. I guess I will. So there we go. This is kind of what it's going to look like. You got this that goes through the seal on top. You try to make this as short as possible. Don't have too much of a low point. We have sealant on the other side right there. Now when this gets compressed, it's gonna crush that sealant into that tube, so you're pretty good. The only thing that's important to realize is you want to line up this that T with the drain hose. I'm not saying I've ever done it backwards where I put the T on the wrong side, you put the AC down and the T's over here and the hose is over there. Then you have to redo it all over again. So it's complicated because this is going to flip over, so sometimes my mind doesn't work so well. So this is not a very high-tech option. It's just a drip can that basically catches the condensate. It catches it on this side. They go to one central point and drain using gravity to come out right here. That's as high-tech as it gets. Now I do have another video with Coleman RVP roof ACs where we added a condensate pump, because Coleman does it a little bit differently. I couldn't tell you which way is better or worse. Obviously, simple is always better in my opinion, so this one wins for me. Alright, so I got that lined up about where we want to put it. I'm just going to put a mark right here, right there. So I'm going to cut that section out. Go pretty much all the way down to the bottom, to the metal, that pan right there. Use a nice brand new sharp razor blade, and then we'll do it on the other side. Alright, so those are put on. I hate drilling these out because, quite honestly, you never know. Maybe, I mean, it's pretty far away from the coil, but without flipping it upside down each time, if you're going to hit anything, that's my biggest concern. Just lay this across right there, make a mark, and cut that to fit. Now notice this one's pointing back because that actually goes to the back too. A lot of times you'll still send these spring clips right here, these spring clamps. They won't work on these. Just get a 3/4 inch hose clamp, put it on there. It'll be so much easier because these things are a pain to take off at a weird angle. All right, so we got those put on, sealant underneath it, on top of it. This is the new seal right here. Took the paper backing off, so it's a little sticky. Now we just have to put it back on. You know, line it up best as we can. But this is the factory solution. So now I have to do is cut those, extend our foam pads right there, and then flip this thing over. Alright, so the front one, and the bedroom one put back down. I just have to go underneath, clamp it up, put it all back together. Now, in order to respect my customer's privacy, I won't be showing the inside of it. I might show how that center panel drops down when I put it back up. Let me get down on the inside and we'll take it from there. All right, so we're just tightening these up. You should be able to see it oozing out now. Okay. And then I'll kind of show it to you. Right here are the way this thing hinges up. So this is the cover. It just hinges down. You have a 7/16 head bolt that goes right through there. It's going to line up and then just thread in right there. So on this bedroom one, there's two of them, but these are on the passenger side. It hinges to the driver's side. The normal ones hinge to the passenger side. Of course, the air filter goes right there. I did have some dirty air filters I went ahead and cleaned out too. The main reason why they do this is obviously it's pretty. The center ceiling gets this really nice decorative support with backlighting on it. But the main reason is because it makes these ACs a lot quieter. It creates a baffle so that you don't have that big loud AC. You can't hear the TV over it. The problem with it is that AC filter never gets looked at, because it's kind of a pain to get to. There's a permanent filter, you just have to rinse it off and put it back in place. So this is it right there. It's just a plastic filter. So they don't get replaced very often, except for generally when the AC gets replaced. All right, so the last part before we put the AC and wiring all back together. So I just use a hose clamp. It's gonna be a lot easier. Try to position it in a way you can get to it with a driver. And then it just has to fit onto this guy right there. That's pretty much it. Now the condensate gets collected and ran down here. It's already running downhill, then it'll run out to the back of the cap on this one. The front ones go to the front cap on the driver's side. So if you ever have a coach with the ACs running, there's a couple puddles at the front and the back just dripping from a hose just not hooked up to anything. It's probably a condensate drain. All right, so you can kind of see that one was leaking right there. There's a new, clean AC filter put back up there. Clean AC filter put back up there. So now I just need to hinge this whole thing up. And put the bolt down through there. And then with that one started, go to the next one, get that one going. until you get all it up. Then you just use a socket and tighten it up, and then it's done. And it looks a lot better. There it is. Alright guys, so I'm doing my best not to show anything inside here. There's a new ceiling the ceiling panel put back into position. That was installing condensate drains on a Penguin AC. I still have to run these things and check them out, but that's the ins and out of it. I got lots to do. Thanks a lot for watching. Just gonna use my cheater here.